All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to do I'm Kevin Richards, Program Administrator for Account Processing. Going to do a quick processing update. Since we got together last year, we've had several changes in the account processing team. I'm just going to go through them real quick. Central Processing Bureau Manager George Matt Smith, who many of you know is the acting bureau manager. Our individual processing division managers, Brett Whitfield Tate. Business processing division managers, Robert Farthing. Sales and excise tax division managers, Roz Harmon. And heading up our alcohol, tobacco, and motor fuel is Kathy Blessing. Our returns and deposit operations bureau is Kevin Anguish. Document control and deposit division managers, Philip James. Data entry division managers, Wes Poos. Our Chicago Commerce and Operations Deposit Division Manager, Sandra Means. Sandra's in the back, so if you haven't met her, stop by and say hi. Electronic Commerce Division Manager is Kendra Banning, and our Records Management Division Manager is Kim Rockford. So quite a few new faces in new roles, not necessarily new to the department, but new in their management roles. So first, we're going to kick off with the Central Processing Bureau update. Just want to add a few things regarding the implementation of the Illinois Family Relief Plan, individual income tax, property tax rebates. Processing was very focused on that since July. Basically, we had a targeted deadline of July 5th to be ready to roll to implement that. So from the time the legislation was passed in 2.5 months, I'm just going to highlight some accomplishments. Our IADOR team was able to implement an entirely new account type in our processing system. They developed systematic processes to identify those taxpayers eligible to receive the rebates, which they were entitled to. A new 1040 property tax rebate form was developed, as well as forms, instructions, frequently asked questions, a web page, and other resources to assist taxpayers to properly claim the rebates. We also set up an electronic filing portal for folks to be able to claim the property tax rebate. In addition, systematic jobs were developed to calculate an eligible taxpayer's rebate amount and the appropriate refund method, whether it's direct deposit or check, depending on what we had on file. New workflows were developed for processing both the 1040 property tax rebate and any correspondence received from the taxpayers about their rebate. So between September 12th and today, we have issued over 5 million income and property tax rebates, totaling over $1 billion. The average amount was $206 per taxpayer, and that amounts to more than $1 billion in tax relief to Illinois families. The second, this is just a graph kind of highlighting how those went. And the next one, I'm going to give a shout out to the IADOR team as well as the Comptroller's Office, but because of the dedicated effort and diligence put forth by its employees to accommodate the provisions of the Illinois Family Relief Plan, Public Act 102-0700, the Illinois Department of Revenue played an instrumental role in providing nearly $2 billion in much needed relief to Illinois families. So let me slow that down for just a second. During the course of an entire year, we will issue about 3 million income tax refunds during the entire year. In 2.5 months, we issued 5 million income tax, property tax rebates. So hats off to the agency, to the team. The Comptroller's Office stepped up. We were ready to roll earlier than in September, but there was a thing called a shortage of paper. There was a supply chain issue, so we wanted to roll those off at the same time. So the comptroller stepped up and was able to print off more checks than they had anticipated, so we were able to get that out the door. So it was truly a everybody working together, cooperating, communicating, collaborating, and got the job done. So very hats off to everybody for getting that done. Next, a couple other updates for individual processing division. During 2022, the individual income tax division reduced its backlog of inventory by more than 68,500 items from the previous year at the same time. And although we had a 19% increase in the number of returns identified as potentially being fraudulently filed, identity verification processes and responses, which Max alluded to earlier, continued to be processed as a priority. So this next graph kind of illustrates our anti-fraud efforts, money saved through our different filters and so forth. And this year we're at 60 plus million of refunds going out the door that we've prevented. What I can tell you is pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, post-pandemic, cyber criminals haven't taken a day off. They're still out there. They're still trying to scam, still trying to steal. And, we're working very diligently to prevent that. So basically, since 2015, when there's been this represents, we've saved over 460 million from going out the door. That's real taxpayer dollars. That's real savings. That's your money, as far as that goes, that can be used for other means of what it was intended to and not going into cyber criminals' hands. So just wanted to let you know that. All right, this next slide, I'm going to say something's catching on in a good way. In 2020, we issued the ability for taxpayers to respond to notices electronically for individual income tax. In that first year, we had about 28% of the folks responded. Last year, we continued that program, and I think we were at 33, 34, 35%, somewhere in that range of taxpayers responded to a notice of correspondence electronically. This year, 56%. Not bad, not bad. So when we do that, when people respond electronically, it accelerates the process 30 plus days as far as us being able to respond and work that notice, not to mention the mail time, processing time to receive those and get them on the system. All right, next item, corporations filing form IL 1120 for tax years ending on or after December 31st, 2021 will now receive an extra month to file their return. I don't think anybody has a problem with that in this room. All right, moving forward, secure choice. Just want to talk about that real quick. It's the retirement savings program, promotes convenient, low-cost portable savings for private sector employees. The Illinois Treasurer's Office oversees the Illinois Secure Choice Program. The census helps administer that. More information at www.ilsecurechoice.com. Quick little background. Pilot began in 2018. Program was amended in 2021. It now applies to employers who have 5 or more employees. Employers with 16 to 24 had until 11/1/2022 to enroll. Employers with 5 to 15 employees have until November 1st of next year. Employers also who have been in business for 2+ years, it applies to, and who do not offer a qualified retirement savings program. So why am I talking about this as much right now today? Well, guess what? Illinois' role is responsible for the enforcement. So penalties will become operative in calendar year 2023. Letters will be starting to be issued in February 2023, and the first time non-compliant penalty is $250 per employee. So anyone that's getting a letter from us is probably not going to be very happy. So what can they do? Well, if the employer is already offering a qualified retirement savings plan, they can contact Secure Choice to let them know. They will mark the business as exempt from the program. Employers without a qualified retirement savings program will need to register their business and then employers just need to inform the employees that this is an option. Employees can opt out of the program, and we are fortunate today because Whitney Elders, who has been our point person, is in the house. So that's her address, but if you've got some questions that you want answered this morning, stop by and see Whitney at one of the breaks. And then wrapping things up, I'll just give a quick update on Deposit Operations Bureau. This graph basically continuing to illustrate the decline in the number of paper returns for IL 1040. We're down about 55,000 returns this year, which is a good thing. People are continuing to migrate to an electronic. Business returns, this graph just kind of illustrates for our four largest tax types for business, 1120 ST, 1065s, 1041s were up about 4% overall over last year. Just highlighting, adding on to what the director said as far as payments and deposits. This is for calendar year, comparing 2021 to 2022 through the end of November. And payments are up over $500,000, and deposits are up over 18%. So things are continuing to roll for the calendar year, in addition to setting a record in fiscal year. And then this last graph just kind of illustrates, highlights what the director shared earlier too, as far as fiscal year deposits, and you can see how it's trended upwards over the last 5 years. So with that, I know I'm between you and break, and we're running a little behind, but I know Terry Horseman wants to come up and say just a few quick words, and so I'm going to turn it over to Terry before we go to break.